Guys, welcome back to another episode of starting a clothing brand from scratch. This is episode 12, which is actually insane. I feel like these episodes are flying by. Week by week is literally just flying by. This shit is crazy. It's going so quick. I've been working on 29 Collective now for coming up to 5 months. 5 months in the middle of April. So, a couple episodes from now, 5 months into working on the brand. And I feel like we've come a long way. I'm a very impatient person. It makes me make rush decisions sometimes, and that can, cost me time and money. So I'm trying to learn over this process to be a lot more patient and to stick to my guns, be smart with my time, be proactive with my time, but also know that good things don't come quickly or easily. That's kind of been my big takeaway over the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks or so, is that if I really want this brand to be successful, then I can't rush it. You can't rush greatness. With that being said though, we did get another round of samples in today. This sample is just a hoodie. Just to kind of catch you up a little bit, I have bounced back and forth between 2 manufacturers. This is technically going to be the 3rd round of hoodie samples. I've done 2 full loungewear set samples, one from 2 different manufacturers. This sample that I have right now is the updated tech pack that I sent to the OG manufacturer. I have high expectations for this. We also did something a little bit different for the embroidery. I have one more sample that's being produced right now that should be done next week, and that's going to be like the final hoodie. This sample specifically is like a potential future project. I just wanted to do the updated measurements. I think once I dial in like the actual size chart for the hoodie, then I'll be able to consistently use it and just recreate designs basically. So testing a new design on an updated tech pack with different sizing, etc. So I'm going to unbox this. I'm going to show you guys what we got. Last week, I was showing you a new round of samples. So you guys are getting like a 2 for 2 episode this last couple weeks, which is kind of nice because I like unboxing things and showing them and sharing them. It shows progress and it makes me feel good. I showed you guys the samples from last week's episode and they were not good. So what I did was I reached out to the manufacturer that made them. I basically told them all the issues that were wrong with it, like the things that they made a mistake on, some of the things they just completely forgot to do in the tech pack that I gave them. Like, it was a really detailed tech pack, so some of the issues were just inexcusable, which is unfortunate, but luckily for me, I am going to be getting a full refund. So the only thing that means is that I have to now return the hoodie and the sweat samples, which is kind of shitty because there's a part of me that wants to like collect all of the samples, just as like a memoir. Is a memoir the right word? More of like a scrapbook of things that I was working on. But it's kind of a trade-off. It's like, it was like 191 bucks USD, which in Canadian is like 250 bucks or something like that. So like, it's a big chunk of change to get back, and I'll obviously just be reinvesting that into future samples. But like, it's not like it's a little bit amount of money where I can just be like, nah, fuck it, I'm gonna keep these shitty samples just for the memories, you know what I mean? If you're a brand owner and your samples are shitty, like, do your due diligence, reach out to the manufacturer, make sure that you send them the correct things first of all, but then also if the sample's not right, you absolutely have every right to go back to the manufacturer and either ask for a refund or ask them to completely remake the sample at no additional cost. Oh yeah. Okay, so like I said before, this sample is more than likely going to be part of a future project. So completely different colorway. Honestly, this could be the color that I use for the first launch, but the design and stuff is for a future project, so just keep that in mind. I'm gonna pop a photo up of the tech pack that I sent them with the colorway. It's very difficult to match a hex color that you can use on like Procreate or Canva or something like that to the specific color swatches that manufacturers have. Let me just show you the details of this bad boy, shall we? I was complaining about the feel of the hoodie in the last episode. That was from a different manufacturer. That's the one that I'm getting refunded. This is from the OG manufacturer, which is like the charcoal hoodies from like, I don't even know, like 3rd episode of this series. This is the feel that I'm looking for. Like, it just feels heavier, feels structured. And I haven't quite figured out if that's the wash that they do on it, if it's the type of thread, because it's technically supposed to be the same weight. in terms of GSM. So I just need to do a little bit more research on that and learn that aspect of it a little bit more. But what do we got? First of all, I fucking love this colorway. This like muted green tone. It's kind of like a seafoam green, if you will. Oh man, this looks sick. OG manufacturer, that means that we have the custom 29 button on there. Just a single button this time. I think that looks really clean. It is a functional snap button. Actually works, secures well, unlike the last round. We did do a size medium again, just as the sample size. This will fit a size medium with the updated measurements. For the embroidery, we went just above the pocket for the brand logo, 29 right there above the pocket. On the back, this is the tester that we're doing. Okay, so boom. Imposter syndrome for the collective. Collection 001. We did 3D embroidery for these blockier letters here, and this looks so sleek. I think this looks fucking incredible, to be honest. And then of course just the 2D embroidery for the collective, and then for the 001 we also did flat embroidery. The 3D embroidery just really makes this pop like really nicely. Let's go ahead and flip this inside out. Ain't no bullshit in here, all right? This is real life, baby. This is real life. Quick little details here. We are using, again, 100% French terry cotton. Looks really nice. We got the stitching. This is inside the arm, down to the armpit, and then the other side. Hoodie stitching. This is around the entire hood. Looks really clean again. No like misstitching, or really just, there's actually no like flaw threads or anything hanging out, which is ideal. Stitching around the cuff. The hemline just looks, again, super, super clean. This is the small 29 logo at the front. Few loose threads, nothing too crazy. There's a little bit of the surfacing on there. Nowhere near as bad as the other one was. And I've come to learn that a little bit of surfacing is actually normal. So it's not something that you should worry about. But there was like excessive surfacing on the other one. This is normal. Embroidery on the back. So again, very minimal. I think it's called surfacing. I was calling it applique in the last video, but it's called surfacing. Interfacing. It's called interfacing, not surfacing. What the fuck? I would say there's just a few loose threads that could maybe be cleaned up, but like that's just me being super picky. Stitching, finishing, lines, embroidery, everything. I think this is probably like the best quality that we've gotten to date, which is exceptional. Very happy about that. So now we're just gonna go ahead and do the fit test, because these are the updated measurements that I put onto the tech pack. And here's something that I'm learning, like you guys can probably take note of this as well, is that when you use different manufacturers, every manufacturer has different error allowances in terms of measurements. So say for example, you give your manufacturer on your tech pack like a 25-inch length on a sleeve. Their allowance is normally between, I think it's 0.5 to 2 centimeters of allowance is pretty standard across most manufacturers. Some of them can get it down to like 0.5 to 1 centimeter. But yeah, something to take note of is if you're using different manufacturers for the same product with the same tech pack, there might be small variances in sizing. So it's something to keep in mind. It's basically what I'm trying to say. Oh, wow. Wow, guys, wow. Oh, the cuff feel is absolutely perfect. The hood feels really nice as well. Sizing, slightly cropped, boxy fit, drop shoulder. This is the back, imposter syndrome. I think it's cool. I haven't fully decided what that vision looks like yet. Imposter syndrome is just something that really relates to me, because it's one of those things where I sometimes don't think that I should be in the position that I'm in. And especially when it comes to creating a clothing brand or like doing something new. Like guys, I started this whole brand, this whole series. Like I started doing the YouTube series because I wanted to document the process and the journey of actually creating a clothing brand. And I think it's been a really like eye-opening experience. But imposter syndrome is something that I've struggled with forever, really, because I kind of got into content creation, not by fluke, but I found a lot of success through it by fluke. And it doesn't always feel like I deserve to have an audience. So, and especially now starting a clothing brand, it's like my imposter syndrome tells me regularly who the fuck is gonna buy this product. And so I just wanted to put it on a hoodie because it's something that really resonates with me, and it might resonate with a lot of you too, especially the brand owners. Like, you guys might really fuck with that and really understand where I'm coming from in that sense. It's a difficult thing to process. You do have to work through it, which is something that I've just not done yet. But yo, I'm not even gonna lie. The way this thing is looking right now, like, I would sell this. This is a sellable hoodie. Fit, stunning. The feel of it, quality, everything I showed you guys. There's got that nice firmness around the wrist, so that, like, even if you were to come up, it's gonna hold. So that's kind of like a technical feature that I put into it. Just using the big old brain here. This is, again, a size medium hoodie. So body length does feel really good. Sleeve length, it's not a whole ton of bunching on the sleeve, but it's enough to give it that, like, oversized kind of like baggy aesthetic. Fuck, guys. I think this is the manufacturer that we use 100%. The only issues with the first round of samples that we did was the measurements that I gave them. I fucked up the measurements, but now that the measurements are correct, like, I would sell this hoodie 100%. I would sell this hoodie. I have hoodies that are like around $200, and I would say this is on par with quality, if not a little better, to be honest. This is like the perfect color for spring as well. So this could be a potential colorway that we launch with, just with a different design that I'll show you guys eventually. If you can't tell, I'm smiling cheek to cheek because I'm really happy with how this hoodie is feeling, how it looks, the quality of the embroidery and everything. Like, I think we have it. Now it's just finalizing the design. Let me know in the comments right now what you guys think of this hoodie. Would you buy it? Would you not buy it? Do you want to see a different design on there? Yeah, let me know. Always open to the feedback, and I think I will check in with you guys a little bit later. Morning, guys. It is 7 a.m. I'm just getting ready to go and do a workout. As I was getting ready, I was like just having these like really overwhelming thoughts of imposter syndrome. Really, I guess is kind of the best way to describe how I was feeling or what I was thinking. I've been really in my head about a lot of things, specifically to do with like 29 Collective. I've been really struggling with what my marketing direction is going to be, the actual direction that my clothing brand is going to go. And a lot of those like thoughts have been, I know what it's from, which is not good, but I've been comparing myself to other brands and like what other brands are doing. And not just like from a marketing perspective, but from a clothing perspective, the designs, basically the idea or the vision of a drop that a clothing brand does, and then how they reciprocate that into the actual clothing designs. That's one thing, but then also like personal, on like a more personal level, through my own brand content, like what I'm creating for myself as Jeff, how that content is reflecting what I'm doing as like a business owner. So I don't really know what it is. I'm just kind of talking to speak it out loud, because I haven't really figured it out in my head yet, where these negative thoughts are coming from, because I don't really know. Kind of part of being, you know, a business owner, you deal with these things, I'm sure, regularly, and I just need to continue pushing forward. I'm like really struggling with this analysis paralysis of like, is what I'm doing good enough? Should I put it out? Will people buy it? All those things. And this is like real shit I think that business owners struggle with daily, and I think it's important to kind of share it, to talk about it, because some of you guys might be going through it as well. But yeah, imposter syndrome, man, it's fucking brutal. It's like this combination of not really feeling confident in what you're doing, feeling like you have something, but it's just I don't know the direction exactly that I'm going. And then also just this whole idea of analysis paralysis and like overthinking what I'm doing, what I'm trying to create, instead of just kind of creating it and seeing what happens and then improving from there. So yeah, it's kind of where we're at right now. It's been a bit of a rough morning trying to spin these thoughts into more positive things, but I wanted to jump on just talk to you guys for a minute. So yeah, I'm gonna go work out, so I'll check in with you guys later. All right, so we are just packing up that botched round of samples. We're gonna send them off back to the manufacturer and get our refund. I did just want to mention that before I packed these up in the box, I was going over some final details, taking some videos and some photos of certain aspects of the pieces that I did like, and obviously re-noting the things that were wrong with it, just so that in the future, when it comes to doing more rounds of samples, I can be more clear maybe with the manufacturer, have reference photos of things that I've run into in the past that maybe will help me avoid these types of situations. I think that just comes down to a little bit of trial and error. Like, you don't really know what you're gonna get from the manufacturer until you kind of place your order, and you can make the best educated decision that you can. But sometimes it's just not the right manufacturer, and that's totally fine. That's the perks of working with Alibaba, is that you have that trade assurance guarantee where you're not gonna get fucking ripped off when a piece comes out like this. You can get a refund. But yeah, just wanted to kind of note that, that I was just documenting some of the issues, some of the good things that I liked, so that I can put them into future iterations. We're gonna go ship this off now. Currently just working on some designs right now. Over the course of this entire documentation of creating 29 Collective, I've gone through multiple iterations of designs, multiple ideas of what my first launch is supposed to be, what it's going to mean. I've made revisions to how I want to present the brand and what I want it to kind of communicate, what I want my messaging to be, and the identity of it stayed pretty much the same. Like, it's still kind of built around this idea of like resilience, growth, transformation. And obviously the brand being called 29 Collective represents the idea of this togetherness. Kind of represents, you know, the people that have kind of gone through similar struggles like myself, hitting that rock bottom, not really knowing what your next move is, how you're going to come back from it, but essentially not giving up. And that's kind of the story that I want to tell through this first drop, and build that community, build that collective. Creating the design for this has been something that I've really struggled with. A lot of it is that imposter syndrome that I was talking about earlier in the video, just not being super comfortable or confident in my own design skills. And like, I'm not in a position right now to be able to pay a graphic designer. So I'm trying to be as resourceful as I can and be as creative as I can, and like use my skills to the best of my ability as a creative before I get to a point where I can then hire out a designer. And that's all kind of been compounding, I guess, if you want to call that, into the imposter syndrome, because I see what other brands are putting out, and obviously I look for other brands for inspiration, and I compare my designs to those designs, and it's just one of those things where it's inevitable. But as the brand progresses, as things start to move, as I do launches, things will progressively get better. I just kind of need to accept that as a new brand or as a new business, things just aren't going to be perfect off the rip. I can do everything in my power to make them perfect, but at the end of the day, that's just not how life works. I want to share with you guys the 2 design options that we have. I've been putting up a ton of polls on Instagram, on both my personal pages and the 29 Collective Instagram. So if you guys want to check it out, head over there. I'll leave a link in the description. But it's kind of where I've been putting all these design ideas and getting people to vote on them to help me make the decision of what I want to do. And so I'm going to pop them up onto the screen. The first one, obviously way more minimal. So this one is just 29 for the Collective Volume 1 or Drop 1. This represents the first collection of the brand, kind of just speaks to what the brand is. Streetwear, kind of that contemporary minimal fashion, I guess, if you want to call it that. And I'm looking at potentially doing a black, because it's safe to do black hoodie. Everybody can wear a black hoodie. So I think this looks really clean. And then this other design, which I'll pop up right here, is a little bit more, tells a little bit more of a story. Obviously with the 29 being in the handwritten font, I think it looks a little bit more elevated, a little bit more elegant. And then having the serif font adds that visual contrast. And then from a story perspective, it does give you a little bit more insight into what the brand kind of represents, where it says, wear your struggles like armor, this is for you. So obviously for the Collective. The idea with this design, now I've always wanted to kind of build this like community. The whole kind of idea around this for the collective drop is to really push the notion of community and togetherness. And similar to, I mean, you guys are all familiar with Represent. They have their owners club hoodies, and obviously those are iconic designs, like super recognizable. You can see them, like their brand recognition is just impeccable with those hoodies. You see them from across the street and you know that it's Represent without even really knowing. Obviously it says Represent on the back of the hoodie, but like you get what I'm saying. So my idea and like my goal is to kind of create that like cult like community where it's like super brand recognizable design that I can just put everywhere basically and create this idea that people feel connected to when they wear it. And even if they're strangers and somebody sees somebody else wearing it, there's that familiarity. And so that's what I've been trying to create with this design, which is fucking hard, by the way. Not an easy thing to accomplish. And this is the closest that we've gotten to that. And I'm really, really happy with how this looks. The idea with this is to then have multiple iterations of it, different colorways, seasonal colors, and then continuously kind of revamp the product where it's looking at fabric quality, different GSMs, different types of stitching, different types of printing, if it's embroidery, if it's puff print, heat presses, etc. So a lot of different like visions that I have with this, but it's mostly just creating that brand recognizable piece that I essentially always have in stock that is just there that people can buy and, like I said, have that familiarity with the brand. So that's the goal with this. Let me know what you guys think of that. I think it's a cool direction to go. I think it's important to obviously have a community to build that audience, that the people that like really heavily fuck with your brand. That's what I'm really trying to do. That's why I'm sharing a lot of my personal story here, is because I want people to connect not just with the brand, but I want them to connect with the story. I want them to find their own meaning through 29. And I think this is a really cool way to do that. So that is going to be the first drop. That's the idea, is that I would share it with you guys because we're not hiding shit. I'm getting the last round of samples next week. And then I'll be able to finalize putting this design on the actual hoodie, make sure that the quality of the garment is good. And then we'll be able to set a launch day, do the bulk order and all that shit. So it feels like it's been really long, but once things start happening, like shit happens quick. So I think come next week, once I get that last sample, we're just gonna be flying through this. It's gonna be moving to getting the bulk orders done, starting the marketing, starting the different campaigns, really getting that email flow locked in, trying to really just attract people to join the waitlist, and just starting to push that part of it pretty heavy. So lots of exciting stuff coming up, stuff that I don't really have a fucking clue of what to expect. So it's going to be a learning process that we're going to go through together, which is always fun. But yeah, I just want to share that with you guys. Let me know what you guys think of the hoodies. And again, thank you so much for watching. That is going to conclude episode 12. We're almost there, guys. We are almost there. If you guys want to join the waitlist, 29collective.com. It's going to be in the description. If you want to check out the Instagram, again, in the description. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.